Hey there, Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your astrology for January 2022. And just a quick heads up, if you are watching this prior to the 15th of December, you might want to consider checking out my big 2-hour webinar all about the major astrological and energetic shifts of 2022. I'll be hosting that on Wednesday the 15th at 5 p.m. Pacific, US and Canada. And even if you can't make it, I will also have the replays available for purchase the day following. And you can, of course, check that out at my website, integrativemysticism.com. It's the same place you would go to get a reading with me. So, the month of January is kind of interesting because a lot of the movements make it very nice and organized. So we can talk about this in the context of first half and second half of the month. But don't worry, I do have the dates on screen as I always do. Just a quick reminder, we still have Venus retrograde for the vast majority of the month. In fact, Venus will be retrograde through the 29th of January. And Venus is retrograde in Capricorn, your ninth house of higher education, government legal proceedings, travel, as well as culture, your spiritual path, and spiritual practice. And with Venus retrograde, as we spoke about in the December monthlies, as well as the special Venus retrograde video, the key themes that come up often revolve around volatility, insecurity, escapism, and instability. And that's because Venus retrograde is putting pressure on the cracks that are already there. And you may find that there are some issues that come up that need to be cleared and faced when it comes to, anything to do with ninth house concerns. Some of you may find that throughout the course of this month, the cracks that are getting the pressure put on them the most have to do with culture, or maybe even your past connections or involvements with academic institutions, old commitments, whether they are old business commitments, old impositions, old edicts, old decrees, or even old things that have been put upon you by larger institutions in some way, or things that you've been working in or working with, maybe even things to do with tradition or spirituality. Throughout the course of this month, it's all about cleaning that up for you. Where have you maybe outgrown or felt put upon by traditions or cultural impositions, or even just crowd dynamics within social groups or special interest groups or spiritual groups that you have been connected to? Where do we need to kind of move on to bigger and better things, or give more energy to that and those which ultimately are helping us versus that which is not? Same thing can apply to challenging maybe cultural beliefs or personal impositions that come from family that we may still be holding on to from the inside, including things like values. This could also be a time where a lot of you are going to need to maybe take a step in a new direction when it comes to how you are applying your spiritual path, your education, or maybe your career or vocational training. And you may find that a road that you have been trying to make occur is not going to occur by the means you're using, or that you are actually not a good fit for the people you are working with or serving and need to pivot in that respect. It's a very powerful revelation process to go through, but cleaning up that, as well as old commitments and old impositions from the past, very much something that you can do, and you will have a lot of help with this. In fact, the first half of the month, we've got the sun in this area as well. And so the sun is bringing in attention, enhancement, and support to you, especially when it comes to cleaning up the act that is going on in this area of your chart. If it does mean that we are needing to attract new people, new business, new companionship, new camaraderie, new alliances, the sun is pulling that in. Or if we already have some very strong alliances that are just not necessarily able to be with us that consistently, or we've not known how to treat them very well, or they've not known how to make time in this respect, this is going to help sort all of that out. The sun in Capricorn is also bringing a lot of reform and a lot of release to a lot of these areas. So you may notice that an academic path, a career path, a spiritual path, or the communities they're in are also going through a massive reform throughout the course of this month, making it easier for you to feel at home in those communities, Or if they have to go away, replace them with something that is actually true blue versus something that may actually be distorted. Then the same thing can also apply to those of you looking to maybe work in a different area or corner of your field, which is going to generate more income and more interest in you and the services you provide, because you're going to be very popular with this aspect as well. Your reach is expanding. We also have Mercury in Aquarius the first half of the month. Direct. He doesn't go to retrograde till later. We'll talk about that in a second. Okay, right. We take it one day at a time. Mercury in Aquarius in your 10th house of career is bringing the communications, haste, speed, productivity to your 10th house. This is going to be a month where you can really get ahead when it comes to climbing through the ranks, right? Because the 10th house is all about upward mobility, your status, your station, how you promote to yourself, your rank, your earning power, your ability to make a mark on the world around you. With Mercury here, we are actually speeding up progress towards a new role, a new title, or maybe even a new status or even a new tax bracket for some of you. And with this speed up that's happening, you're also noticing that you are accruing wealth very, very quickly. Because with Mercury in the 10th house, things tend to stack up. Okay, we don't necessarily see a lot of big sales or things like that. No, what we see is a lot of very easy to accomplish, very easy to finish tasks that actually add up quicker or more quickly than we would if we were working with, say, just some kind of big ticket item and then we'll call it and set it and forget it. So you're still going to actually be doing very, very well. It's going to be a very wealthy month for you. Just make sure you're willing and able to keep up the pace, because I feel like a lot of this is going to be very demanding and it's going to be like greased lightning. When it comes to Mars, well, Mars in the first half of the month, excuse me, we have him in Sagittarius, your 8th house of shared resources, passive income, intimacy, eroticism, as well as anything to do with your self-generated or self-employment monies. Now, with Mars in the 8th house, this is a very hot month, very much like we saw with the end of December. A lot of you Taurus people are going to find that it's time to get a little bit wild, and there is going to be a lot of passion and new expressions of your own erotic language coming out with a partner, or if you're single or available, attracting somebody that is actually a perfect match for that adventure, for that experimentation, and for that experience. We're also seeing Mars do a lot of his work on the economic side of things. You're going to be finding that any kind of money you're making outside of a base salary or hourly income is also on the rise. So sales, commissions, tips, incentive programs, bonuses, all of that going through a big jump. Just be careful with Mars in the 8th house when it comes to how you choose to invest it or borrow if you're looking for venture capital. It can be very easy to go too fierce and end up with a bit of remorse. And so hold on to your earnings this month. Don't go out of your way to keep playing in any of the fast and loose games or try to trade it away immediately. Finally, for the final theme of the first 2 weeks, we have a new moon in Capricorn on the 2nd. That 9th house of higher education, government legal proceedings, travel, culture, all of that good stuff. And that new moon is setting up a window between the 2nd of January and the 17th of January. This new moon is all about planting seeds and starting new cycles and new beginnings that are going to allow you to get out of a space that you have been contained in for too long. Now, whether this is a containment that has to do with maybe your ability to move or direct yourself where you would like to work, right? Something going on in your industry or your field, something that has been imposed upon you, or maybe even something that has limited you in terms of your education, your academic path, your spiritual path. A lot of you Taurus people are going to find that this is a wonderful time to get ready for maybe even a big transition in a spiritual path, or even starting to develop some kind of new spiritual skill or new vocational skill that is going to be put to use almost immediately in helping you to actually accomplish a goal not related to the 9th house. When it comes to a little bit of string there. Woo. When it comes to the second half of the month, we do have the sun moving into Aquarius, your 10th house of career, upward mobility, as well as, of course, promotion, status, and station. Okay, so we've got the sun still going strong here. And This is going to be a time where that attention, enhancement, and support is bringing a lot more people and investment and value to you, your role, what you put out there, what you are getting known for being in your field, what you are doing to actually put your mark on the world. You may be finding that, yes, this is a great time to be promoting yourself. You may find that you are going to have an easy time rising through the ranks, generating interest. However, generating interest and awareness applies to your field, who you want to talk to, and you're getting a chance to actually step into the role of an authority figure, whether it's by being lifted into an authoritative position throughout the course of the second half of this month and the first half of February, or getting a chance to maybe have that benefit because of a lot of authority taking an interest and showing a lot of favor to you, knocking down a few walls and breaking a few glass ceilings in that respect. We have Mars moving into Capricorn, that ninth house we spoke about earlier, that action, driving force, energy, passion, obstacle clearing. And you've got a lot of help coming your way this month, especially when it comes to helping you, talk about breaking out of glass ceiling situations. That's what Mars is really going hard on for you Taurus people right now. So with Mars in the ninth house, if you have been encountering a block, right, this is a blockbuster. So if it's a block in being able to actually move into a certain territory, or maybe give yourself more mobility socially, personally, professionally, or something that you would like to actually eliminate from your past that you are still working on now as it relates to government legal proceedings, travel, culture, tradition, Mars is helping you finally put that situation to rest, get out from under its shadow. A champion to your cause may show up here. This could be a very close friend, somebody from your own entourage, or somebody new that is showing up to help you fight this battle in order to secure a success. This is also a great time for a lot of you to put yourself out there to compete, whether it's competing in a circle or to help yourself rise through the ranks by actually challenging ideas or propositions or status quos in your field or in your culture or maybe in your school, whatever's going on that you need to challenge in order to make a positive change in the highest interest of all concerned. We also have Mercury turning retrograde the second half of the month. And from the 14th through the 25th, he will be in Aquarius. And then from the 25th on, he will be in Capricorn. So the 14th to the 25th, Mercury retrograde in your 10th house of career is bringing back opportunities for you to revisit, revise, or even rearrange. Maybe there's something going on when it comes to your career you would like to bring back, things that you missed, you didn't have time for, you had to step aside from, or were either blocked or deferred away from you. This can be a very confusing time because you are noticing a lot of policy shifts, you're noticing a lot of chaos at the workplace, but I think that this is a creative chaos. It can actually be very, very positive, so don't project negativity onto it. This is also something where you're going to find old money coming back to you, especially when it comes to the opportunity to earn more money or the opportunity to actually lift yourself up or get back in alignment with a career trajectory you thought you had lost. After the 25th, Mercury retrograde goes back into Capricorn, and you are going to find that old spiritual paths, old loves, old desires as it relates to your creativity, or maybe even a long-term direction or long-term trajectory you wanted to take, a special talent or an aspect of your education or your vocational training, even an old passion in that respect, is coming back for you to reconnect with. Reconnect and reintegrate if you want. Just be mindful with Mercury retrograde in the 9th house. There could be some resistance to the revision of a lot of contracts or commitments. It works for you. Other people might not necessarily always be so compliant or inclined to help right away, but you will see it through when you want to change those up as well. Remember, you've got Mars there really taking the edge off. Finally, we have a full moon in Cancer occurring on the 17th. Opening up a window between the 17th of this month and the very beginning of February. This is your third house of communications, pacts, promises, and commitments. And with a full moon in the third house, it's a time for cutting cords. It's a time for cutting ties, breaking away from old contracts, old commitments, things that have kept you in a place where you kind of have to look over your shoulder, or things that have been maybe siphoning energy, availability, time, and resources from you. These could be old commitments that you've maintained for a while, maybe revising or rediscussing things like employment agreements, or maybe even old contracts, promises, or commitments that you should not necessarily be beholden to or have ownness to anymore. Anything you want to have a clean break from, anything you want to finally chop out and cut ties with, this full moon is here for you. So that is what I've got for you, Taurus. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And if you ever want to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.